Good morning, or good evening, I should say. Welcome to Chat and Craft with Lorraine. My name is Lorraine Tierney, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Warner, New Hampshire. Today is Monday, May 20th, and this is a recording. I'm making it in the morning, but it's going to air at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday night when I am trying to go live consistently. But I keep feeling the draw of grandmotherly fun, and I'm off in Vermont with my grandchildren this evening. So I still wanted to come live. So thank you for joining me. I am going to have a little incentive tonight. If you comment or share this video, I will pick a name to send a small embellishment prize in the mail. I'll pick a name Tuesday evening sometime, probably around 8 o'clock on Tuesday evening. So please comment. Let me know where you're watching from, especially if it's your first time. Comment replay. And let me know what you think of the card or some part of the card or whatever. I'm using a stamp set today called Fields in Bloom. And I think this is maybe an overlooked stamp set in the catalog. Let me grab my catalog, and I'm going to find the page that this is on. The best way to do that is using the index at the back of the catalog, and there's a section for stamp sets. So it's on page 85, and I think it's kind of hard to see on here. You obviously, let me switch my camera around. You obviously can see the stamp set, but you don't really see the box that the stamp set comes in or the name of it. But this is the stamp set, Fields in Bloom. And yeah, so it has the name way down here at the bottom, and it shows you the stamps here. And these cards this card is made with that stamp set, and this card is made with it. And I really like this stamp set. I like the two-step part of it. I like that it has a smaller image you can also use. It's really a pretty stamp set, so I thought I would use it tonight. I'm also taking part in a color challenge with this card. And 3 of the colors in the color challenge are Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, and Melon Mambo. So I'm going to use those cards, or those colors as well on this card. So to make this card, I have a Garden Green card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. I have a Melon Mambo mat that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I have 2 pieces of basic white that are 5 1/4 by 4. And one piece is going to be on the inside. We will leave that at 5 1/4 by 4. And the piece that we use on the front, we will cut down to 3 3/4 by 5 at some point. But first, we're going to make the card front. So here's that stamp set, Fields in Bloom, and it has some nice sized stamps. This one is the grass, and then this one is the flowers, and the flowers fit right over the grass. I'll show you how that works. And I have these on the E block, so you do need excuse me, a fairly decent sized block to put these on. Now, I decided that grass is not always uniformly the same color. There's lights and darks with the grass, and I wanted some light and dark with my grass, so I decided to use blending brushes to put the ink on my stamp. So first I'm going to do a little Granny Apple Green. I always do the lighter color first because if my brush with the darker color picks up some lighter color, it won't really change the darker color. But if I pick up darker color, it could change the lighter color. So I'm just gonna, I tried to make it a little bit random where I put that granny apple green. And now I'm gonna put some of the garden green right on there as well. So I want some variation in color, but I don't want any totally bald spots. Okay, so let's see. And this comes out kind of muted because you don't get this ink quite as strong when you do this. Now this stamp is just slightly wider than my piece of paper at 4 inches, and I'm trying to get it right down on the bottom. So let's see how this comes out. There you go. So you can see I've got some different color grasses. It's lighter and darker. There's some variation, but I like that. Now we're going to do the flowers. Oh, I was going to use the blending brush for the flowers too, because otherwise they come out too dark. I forgot. There we go. And I believe I stamped off with these flowers. Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to stamp off. I'm going to stamp off twice here and see. No, I don't need to stamp off if I use my blending brush. Okay. So there we go. And now this is going to line up. There's a couple of flowers over here on the right that are very easy to line up into the spaces. And once you get those, the others go in very well. So there are my wildflowers. Now I want this to go up the card front a little bit more. So I'm going to use a piece of masking paper. I still have some ink on this piece right here. So I'm going to stamp a little bit right on the masking paper. It's faint, but I have enough that I can see how I want to cut this out. I'm going to let it be a little bit bigger. It's wider than the piece of paper I'm on, and that's okay. So I'm going to put it on like this, and it's going to hold my paper on either side too, because it's a little wider. Now this masking paper is super, super sticky. I find it's too sticky, so I put it on my sleeve. I pick it up, and I actually do that at least 2 times, if not 3 times. Whoops. And you should try to take it off a little more carefully than that. We'll see if I can make that work. And now I'm going to put that on my paper, and I'm covering up the pink edge. And now I'm going to go back and add some more granny apple green and some more garden green to my grass. And I'm going to overlap onto this masking paper a little bit. I don't want my stamp to come down here and mess up this part, but I can overlap onto the masking paper enough that I'm going to get grass down here in this dip. So there we go. And now we'll do our flowers. It's hard to tell where you've gotten the ink on the big flower stamp, but now I'm going to match these up so the flowers go in the holes. There you go. Let me close up my ink pads. And I'm going to carefully pull this off. And I'm going to keep my hand very close to the paper as I pull it off, because I don't want it to rip my paper. There we go. So that came off, and I have a nice field of wildflowers. All right, and I'm going to leave the top plain. I'm going to leave the top white, and now I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. Let me grab my trimmer, and I'm going to trim this to 3 3/4 by 5, and I like that kind of being in the middle, so I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off either side for the 3 3/4. And I'm going to take the 1/4 inch off the top. I'm going to get rid of some of that white space so that my wildflowers go up to the top. All right, and now I'm going to put that on my Melon Mambo mat. I like the liquid glue. There we go, just a nice little border. And we'll put that right on the card front with a little bit bigger border. Sometimes I like to be wild and crazy and have a bigger border like that. I am pretty much a symmetrical layout kind of person. What other colors would you think of to make the grass and the flowers in? I'd love to hear what color combinations you think might work. And then for the sentiment, I made this yesterday and then didn't end up putting it on the card because I didn't like what happened with the card. I'll show you what I ended up doing. But this is from another new stamp set in the annual catalog called Happiest Day. It had me at the dragonfly. I love dragonflies. And I also liked the nice, decent size, wishing you the happiest birthday, you're the best. I liked all these sentiments, so I'm going to use thinking of you today and every day. So I made this one. This is just on a, it's probably it's a 5/8 inch wide piece of Melon Mambo. Must have been left over from when I cut my mat. And I'm just going to put this right here in the middle, and it's kind of over the seam between the two where I masked the two stamps just to help blend that a little bit more. So that's going to go there, but we need to do a little decorating on the inside of our card. That's the wrong stamp set. I'm going back to Fields in Bloom, and it has these leaves and the flowers that also fit together very nicely. So I'm going to grab a couple of little blocks. And I'm going to use my Granny Apple Green. And we're going to test this out. There's the leaves. And then here are the flowers. So that very easily just fits inside. I think I'm going to stamp off my flowers because I want them to match the front a little bit more. I'm going to stamp them off. I'll use my Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to put them down here in the corner. And then this is already stamped off. Put my flowers in there. And I'll put this inside. So it says, thinking of you today and every day. I don't think I need another sentiment on the inside of it. I'll just write my message. And that will be my card. Do you think we need some bling on the front? We might. Let me grab some pearls, and then I want to show you another card that I made with this same set. Okay, here are my pearls. I love my pearls. I seem to have lost my take your pick tool, so I'll use my scissors here. Okay, I'm going to put one right there. And maybe one there. And one in that flower right there. So just a couple of pearls on there. They get lost a little bit. I could have colored them. Maybe I should have done that. So now you'll know. If you use some pearls on there, color your pearls. Let me show you this other card I made. I forget why I was practicing making one of these, and I didn't like something that came out on it. And so I decided to punch 2 circles out of that part. And I put it on a bubble bath piece of cardstock that's embossed with the circle dots embossing folder. And this is from that mailbox set, the Sending You Love set. And I thought this just made a cute card. And this is the Melon Mambo put on with the blending brushes, but it looks a lot like the bubble bath color. So that's just another card I made. I didn't put anything on the inside of that one. So there are those 2 cards. I hope that you like this. I'm going to try to switch this back for a second. I hope you like this card. Remember to comment or share the video, and I'll be picking a name for a winner of a small embellishment. Excuse me. I have a tickle in my throat. I hope you've had a great day today, and I hope you have a great evening. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.